Welcome. February 10th today, and we are delighted to welcome some of our wonderful poet friends to our panel. Today happens to be 10th of February, which is also called the Teddy Day in the week of Valentine's Day. And Teddy symbolizes affection, comfort, and security of a relationship. And we all are poets who enjoy each other, the comfort of our company, and the security of poetry together. And that is the relationship we share with each other. And it just happens that we have poets not only from India, US, but also from Serbia. And I have the pleasure of introducing each one of you on behalf of Literary Warriors Group, which is founded by Neelam Saxena and co-founded by Anup as well, who both happen to be here today. So welcome to all of you. Namaste, good morning, good evening, wherever in the world you are logged in from, and welcome to our International English Poetry session. I start by introducing Professor Nandini Sahu, Vice Chancellor, Hindi University, West Bengal, former Director, School of Foreign Languages, New Delhi, India, is an established Indian English poet, creative writer, and a folklorist. Amazon's best-selling author, she has authored 21 books. Apart from being a double gold medalist during her graduation and post-graduation, she is the recipient of the Literary Award Gold Medal from the Vice President of India for her contributions to English studies. She is the recipient of prestigious Michael Madhusudan Academy Award last year and Lifetime Achievement Award last year. Although, Nandini, I think you have so much life ahead of you. This is very early for you, but we look forward to many more. As a professor of English, her areas of research interest cover new literatures, critical theory, folklore and cultural studies, Hindu studies, Indian knowledge systems, comparative literature, children's literature, and American literature. So welcome to you, Nandini, once again, formally.
Thank you very much.
Let me move on to Maja Herman Sekulich. She is shunting between Serbia and USA. In fact, she just returned from office and logged in, although she was so short on time, which we appreciate, Maja. She is an internationally published Serbian author of 30 books. Her poems were translated in 27 languages. Most recently, she was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature by International Academy of Ethics from India, of which she is the vice president. She was awarded for 50 Memorable Women of Europe and with International Peace Prize Nelson Mandela. She is a unique global poetry icon, ambassador and administrator of the Global Literary Society. She is also a world traveler and a Princeton PhD in comparative literature. Welcome to you, Maja, from Serbia, and thank you for making time, although you were running around.
Thank you. I'm not running around. I'm going into straight line from one place to another. But anyway,
thank you for making time. And after we introduce the other poets, we will invite you for your first poem.
Thank you so much.
Welcome Satbir Chadha.
Okay. So
I welcome Satbir Chadha, who is a novelist, poet, short story writer, and a translator based out of Delhi. She was awarded the Rural International Prize for her memoirs, For God Loves Foolish People. What a lovely title. Her second novel is Betrayed, a medical thriller, and then there are 4 solo collections of poetry. Her last book, I Want to Go to Haldwani and Other Poems, was celebrated by the Poetry Society of India and the India International Center. She was given the Litpreneur Award by Author Press for her contribution to literature. Thank you so much, dear Satbir Chadha, once again. I welcome now Anup Jalan. He is one of the co-founders for our group LWG, and he is one of the warriors in personal life and literary life. And he is a computer software consultant, writer, poet, and musician. And he is an IIM alumnus and was associated with software industry for more than 20 years while being an ardent student of music and literature. Now he follows his passions of research, writing, and singing full time. Welcome to you, Anup ji, and thank you for covering my, may I say, soul and skin for saving them, both today because Greg could not make it due to a snowstorm today in his area of Maine.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling me, Rupa.
Thank you so much for being here. And finally, I introduce someone who is the person behind LWG, the warrior. Let me say, no one can whistle a symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it. So Neelam Saxena decided to bring in the likes of us. So we have an orchestra here today and otherwise. Neelam Saxena Chandra is a celebrated bilingual author who writes in English and Hindi. She has authored 6 novels, 9 short story collections, 47 poetry collections, and 15 children's books. A 3-time Limca Book of Records holder, she has won the Sohanlal Dwivedi Puraskar, Prem Chand Award, Rabindranath Tagore International Poetry Award, Setu Award for Excellence, Rural International Lifetime Award. Again, lifetime makes me stop for a second because you have so much more to create going forward. She has received the Freedom Award for Lyrics and recognition from the American Embassy, presented by Gulzar Sahab. And in 2014, Forbes India listed her among India's 78 most popular authors. Welcome to each one of you.
Thank you. And this was not the final introduction. Let me introduce the host for the day, Rupa Rao. Rupa Rao holds an MBA and a law degree. After a corporate career for last 2 years, she is engaged in literary pursuits. Her writings are featured in multiple poetry anthologies, magazines, and online platforms. She juggles writing, reciting solo, or moderating group poetry events, interviewing creative writers, poets, chefs, musicians, etc. She enjoys a few online literary groups and shares her work with them. She's an avid nature walker into regular yoga and believes in constantly growing. She has curated, edited, and co-authored 4 poetry anthologies, and her first book has just been released. Am I right, Rupa?
That is correct, yes.
Welcome, Rupa.
Thank you so much, Neelam. I really appreciate your introduction. Thank you very much. So welcome to each one of you who has joined us today and who will be joining us later when we are not online. And I invite our first poet, Maja, to recite her poem, Notes Toward a Ballad. Maja, over to you for your ballad.
Oh my God. Okay. I opened the other one. Okay.
You want to go with Reason for the Rain? That's fine too.
I'll find. There's just one second. Okay. Notes toward a ballad. The August sun is intense. I undress on the beach. Sand in my toes. I hold sun rays in my hair. I take refuge in a cafe on the nameless street, tired of the heat. White wine goes green in my glass. Sun, still fire in the sky. No shade, no break. His eyes dance on me, they burn my skin. I accept the figs he gives me, they are too soft. The coffee is too strong, and the sun doesn't give up, and he doesn't give up. And now I lie awake pretending that he lies awake and that the whole world is awake, as we were then in that summer heat, in that cafe without a break. Thank you.
Lovely, Maya. And this makes us want to turn to the white wine that you mentioned and move away from the hot sun, or maybe move into the sun to enjoy the ballad. Thank you so much for rendering a lovely poem.
Thank you.
Wonderful,
I love, by the way, the name of literary warriors.
Thank you. Neelam, you have to take that compliment, I think.
No, all three of us. Rather, Satbir ji is also a member. So all four of us.
All of us are warriors. Yes.
Correct. Wonderful. Nandini, may I invite you to render your ghazal, Manthan. The name itself is so beautiful, and I want to see what are you going to be churning in your poetry.
Okay. May I?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rupa, for this beautiful introduction. And thank you, Neelam ji, for inviting me, for making me a part of this. And Anup ji, and Maya ji, Satbir ji, or each one of you. Namaskar. Okay, this poem, Manthan, a ghazal. You know, these days I'm writing a lot of ghazals. I try to maintain a typical rhyme scheme. I don't know if I'm 100% doing it, but still I'm trying to do it. So this is a love poem, like Rupa told in the beginning, that we are going through a period, 7 days or 8 days of this, love, and love is in the air. So I'm going to read this Manthan, a ghazal. It's a love poem. Then you asked me, why do I shine so bright? I said, my love, because I am your agenda of the light. Then you pondered, how can my love be such a delight? I said calmly, because love at once is opaque and clear daylight. You brooded, how can someone be a lover of your poise, your repute? I said, Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean, was accomplished to extract the Amrit, celestial nectar, where the Devas and the Danavas took part. In a tug of war, challenged to roll the elixir from the ocean, bid to attain immortality and eternal life beyond bereavement, the medieval Hindu theology encompasses the legend that the Devas were carrying the Amrit away from the Dhanavs. Adamant, drops of nectar fell at your places at 4 places on the earth, Haridwar, Prayag, Nashik, and Ujjain in their divine light. In the churning of the ocean, the lightful treasures, the archetypes for their earthly and heavenly complements were brought. Oceanic depths brought Chandra, the moon, Parijat, the tree fragrant, the 4-tusked elephant, Airavat, Lord Indra's mount, made all that glory and glee of me, your Lakshmi, you churned your fate, using Mount Meru as the rod and Vasuki as a rope, the king of the serpent. You became Lord Shiv. You chose to devour the poison, you drank it. In my Manthan, you elected glory for me, and for yourself, venom was kept. Nandini's conjecture, love churned me, and love was my Manthan. Love took me out of the darkness of the cold fields like a granite. My adorable, love is umber, love granite, love murky pebble, love stone bright, love devotion, love renunciation, love merger, love, a prayer from the heart. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Fabulous. Got so captivated, forgot to unmute myself, Nandini.
Thank you. Yes. So this is the love poem, and now everyone is in the mood of this Valentine's week, I believe.
Absolutely. We are done with the rose day, the chocolate day. We are on to teddy day, and more is ahead. The kiss day, the hug day, the proposal day is also over. So, with all the confusion, we better be confused. That's what is called love, right? So,
Yes.
thank you for a wonderful poem.
Thank you.
From the theme of love, we go on to something profoundly deep. And that's what we expect from someone like Satbir ji, who's going to talk about the world torn apart by war. Over to you, Satbir ji.
Thank you so much, Rupa. Nandini, that was an awesome poem. And Maya, yours too. Neelam, thank you. And thank you for joining us. I love it when you're there, you know. So this poem is the world torn apart by war and strife. It's always been there, but the last 2 years have been an immense trauma for peace lovers like us, So, anyway, I start. Children suddenly stopped from going to school, smuggled out in the dark to possibly safe zones. Fearful families huddled over frugal portions of bread. These are not stories, they are real. Let us dread. Old people, restful, relaxed, and secure at last, enjoying a well deserved, well earned, comfortable retirement, suddenly thrown out of their cozy, heated homes with nothing but the clothes they had worn. Every day, a dark uncertainty. Their accounts frozen, bereft of their money, afraid of falling sick in an alien land, nervously holding hands. This night will be too long. Scared of death, of an undignified life, silent sighs and hidden tears, no more with them any nears or dears. Raise their hands in prayer for those lost on the way. Another part of the world, villagers, farmers, shopkeepers, blinded by the lightning of shrapnel as their modest homes are bombed. Frail, innocent lives lost to meaningless wars. Parents searching for their children, kids crying for their parents. In the sordid, smoldering rubble, like scenes from ancient films, only these are now and real, torn apart to smithereens and how. As the world celebrates Eid, Easter, Vaisakhi, pictures of holy prayers and festivities flood the printed media and internet world. Mankind has become an ostrich, burying its head in the sand. Does it not see the monster, the expansionist, the warmonger? Friends, if it is your neighbor's home today, tomorrow certainly it will be yours. Wake up, shake the apathy, take a call. Take a call. Denounce the evil, the violence, and stand up tall. Stand up while you can before you're struck and made to fall. Thank you.
May your words reach every corner of the world, and the children orphaned or the women who have lost their family members and partners, or men who are giving up lives for the war which is really not theirs. So thank you so much for these profound words. And from the war-torn world, we move on to Anuji, who takes us to a sheltered life. What kind of shelter are you taking us to, Anuji?
I think if you just listen to the poem, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Let me not try to anticipate what I'm saying. A sheltered life. A garden full of wonder, alluring, full of charm, dulcet notes of birds, singing in delight. A garden full of magic, enchanting, full of lure, fragrant scent of flowers and colors, warm and bright. A garden full of promise, confident, full of hope, yearning to do good and set everything right. A garden full of beauty, protected, full of joy, where life revels in daylight, oblivious of the night, oblivious of the night.
So we started with a ballad, went on to churnings of love, and then we visited the apathy, and we want to change that toward the wars happening around us. And we went into a beautiful, serene shelter. What should come next? I invite Neelam to talk about silence. So, how will she articulate silence? Over to you, Neelam.
Thank you, dear Rupa. And I'm loving the show. I'm loving the poems in this session. So here's my poem. At times, you just don't utter a word. Not since you can't find them, but because silence is golden indeed. Words don't really matter to judgmental persons. They will find faults anyway. Words don't really matter to close friends and kin. They know you inside out. When Kaushalya realized that King Dashratha had married a much younger Kekai, who had been promised that her son would be the king in waiting, her title of the queen consort no longer made her happy. She was lost in the world of voids. Amongst the voids, the largest wasn't that of dim chances of a son. Of her son, it was the mockery of her love. Perhaps she also knew that Ram would be the king someday, but she was no longer king. Sita wore the robe of silence when deserted by Ram. Whom did she need to prove after the love of her life had abandoned her? Valmiki appreciated her in his way and chose to be the fatherly figure she deeply longed for at that moment. For others, her words had no meaning. She didn't wish to prove to anyone. Her sons would have the throne anyway. She had to live for them, though she was dead. Her death, understood by Mother Earth, became a reality when Ram returned. Yashodhara wore the cloak of silence when Prince Siddharth left her to find peace. She knew that he would become popular one day and would have lakhs as his followers. She had begun to live for Rahul, her son, though she was also lifeless. Her love had deserted her. Were these women living for their sons because of love or for duty? I've often pondered and realized that it was mainly the responsibility that made them survive silently. They'd all stopped believing in love and they were silent, for they were deserted in love, not willing to fall into the trap of love in any form once again, knowing well that the echoes of being unloved would be heard by them for long. They simply existed. They simply existed. So that was my poem, Silence.
So, Neelam, we are talking about silences which can be so much more layered than it appears to be. And in fact, the Kaushalyas and the Yashodaras are still walking around with different kind of silences and different kind of reasons for silences. So that was a wonderful poem.
Thank you, dear Rupa. And now it is our dear Rupa's turn. So I would like to render 4 lines. In life's vast ocean, the shark does tread, a symbol of hunger where hope has fled. It prowls unseen in shadows dark, devouring the dreams of the orphaned heart. I'm quite keen to hear your poem, Rupa.
Thank you so much, Neelam. I think you summed it up so well. Thank you so much. I have titled this poem of mine, Shark. In the starry firmament expanse vast, compassion stars sparkle from the past. Myriad memories linger downcast when mist kindness leaves us aghast. The hungry orphan beggar are left as outcast. Bountiful, blessed, discard food as waste, demand from menus to their eclectic taste, while orphan is groveling per decree by fate, seeking food despite heaped hate. At the traffic signal, groups congregate, cumulative poverty view that affluent and rich berate. Guilt conflicts with duty within the rich, and they flake, uneasily suppressing with coffee and cake. Feelings deep still refuse to shed on a vigorous shake. The pampered progeny distends to greener pastures. Life's autumn relives shame-walking lanes of rapture. Their hefty donation chunks shine on their brass plaque, a tad late for the little orphan swallowed by hunger shark. Thank you so much.
That was a very wonderful and poem on which we have to think a lot. Well done. But
Very touching poem.
Thank you, Satbir
Loved
ji.
it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Maya, we are very cognizant of your time constraint. So I invite you to render your second poem, Reason for Rain, and let's find out what's happening with the reason and the rain that you have versed for us. Over to you, Maya.
Thank you, Rupa. I really appreciate you considering my limited time. Before I start, because I kept to the shorter poems that you sort of indicated that we should. But behind me is the print that I want to point out is a print from Salvador Dali. It's Dante Alighieri and Virgil. Dante is showing the way to Virgil through Divine Comedy. So, since we are all poets, I think that this particular Dali print is very nice background for this occasion.
Beautiful.
Okay,
I
so
wish you could have brought it forward, but that's good. We are loving seeing it, however much we can see of it.
yes,
Thank you.
okay. Well, you can see it if you, I guess, enlarge. I don't know. I don't see you very well. I'm trying to
Oh, that's
get to
okay.
know
That's fine.
your faces better. Anyway, this is the point. Reason for the rain. There was all this talk about Botticelli. There was all this wine in our veins. There was all the rain. And all those people coming and going through my brain. Dancing on the ferry to another shore, changes of scenery, of geography, changes of heart. There was all this wall between words, erected with pain. Will this rain ever stop? Will the summertime open a window and let the sun shine from inside through my eyes again after all these years of waltzing all alone, all by myself amidst the crowd? Thank you.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice.
We are delighted you could make time and squeeze our event into your busy day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
really
being
enjoyed
here
it.
with us.
I enjoyed it. I want to meet you all.
Likewise. Likewise. We would love to meet you in person, maybe in Serbia, maybe in Princeton, maybe in India, whatever happens
Maybe
next.
in New York, yes. Maybe in Rome in March.
All right. So be it. Amen.
But I think we will meet in India probably.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Look forward to that, Maya. And I do
Yes,
want to
thank you
add that
so much.
Nandini and
Thank you
Maya
so much. I
actually,
loved it. Thank you.
Maya, before you go, I do want to add that you and Nandini actually had shared wonderful longer poems, but we had to request you to share a shorter one due to time constraint. We
Yes,
hope that soon in future we will have an event with the longer poems from you and Nandini as well. So thank you for being here.
thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. And Nandini, may I invite you once again? Let's go hand in hand. Whose hand are you holding, or may I hold yours? So over to you. Let's talk about hand in hand.
Thank you, Rupa. I must say you have a way with words. You introduce poems and people in such beautiful manner. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. This is a very short poem titled Hand in Hand. There is a bit short story behind it. The other day I happened to go to a construction site where
Okay.
for some reason I went there. Then I saw a man. I didn't know him, but the man was sitting very sad and probably he was crying. I didn't know the person, but I just went there and I put my hand on his hand without knowing the reason why I was doing it. I just did that. And then he stopped crying. He looked at me and he smiled. He stopped crying. I don't know why he was crying. He didn't know who am I, but still there was a human connect. So probably this poem has something to do with the poem that Satbir ji read out about war and destruction, about hatred, and then again about love. So this poem is again dedicated to the love of every common man that we may come across. And the title of the poem is Hand in Hand. A man was sitting sad. I did not know him. I only knew the masculine sorrow. I smiled at him. He did not know my smiles. He only knew the sharing. I extended my hands. We did not know each other's hands, only knew walking hand in hand. I picked a handful of salt water. I did not know his tears, only knew thirst quenched, hearts drenched. So this is the poem of Human Connect. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Very nice.
The
Very
salt
nice.
water being the tears that you're holding in your palm. Lovely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
And may I request Satbir to talk about dear month of February. And before I invite her to render her poem, I do want to share with you. We are in the week of Valentine's Day, and I'm sure most of us know the different versions and stories, which is the real history behind Valentine's. However, it is so commercialized. All we know is it's about roses and chocolates and teddies and cards and kisses and proposals. But really, in the third century, a Roman emperor, he was the one who banned marriages because he said warriors who are single, they fight better in the wars. So just let's keep that in mind, and let's talk about love again and Valentine's as those who hid their love and articulated via hidden letters and different symbols. So that is what is Valentine's, and that is what happens in month of February. And I'm not someone who's taken up by it. I'm sorry. So over to you, Satbir ji, to talk about the month of February.
So this is a totally different uh, poem. It's humor, satire, whatever you take of it. I hope you enjoy it. It's titled Dear Month of February. The sun had two daughters, both tall, still, slim, and beautiful. One was fair and shone like the driven snow. The second had a tan and a charming warm glow. She was so loving, though the first one was wise. Then the sun had a son, a lazy bum, who spent his time looking at the sun. This one glowed with radiance golden, chubby cheeks, and a dimpled chin. Then came another two daughters. First, the learned, harmonious one. The second, a fickle, feeble minded, dithering dame. The next two were born for no rhyme or reason, except that the breeze was oh too dry, and the sky was oh so high, and the sun's was not to reason why. Then and thereafter was born the son, the one with the royal demeanor. Perhaps he'd become become someday a king. The last four children, born in old age, named in a rhyme to save them time. For the son had to go to rejuvenation clinic. The four shared between them the wet and the dry, the hot and the cold, the rain and the snow, and peas porridge hot, 9 months old. Packing the siblings in his old awkward chariot for the Christmas and New Year party, he banged the door hard. Oh, so sad. The second daughter's legs were too long and went beyond the length of the chariot, though just a tad. So sad, so sad, so sad. They got snipped just above the ankle. So forever she was stunted. Therefore, we have this 1 month odd, amputated and truncated. Poor dear February.
That was
Oh,
interesting. That was interesting.
Now we know better why we have a truncated month in the year. Thank you.
and you know the qualities of the others also, why they are what they are.
Absolutely. In fact, these are little trivia we all need to know better about.
Yes. And Satbir humor studies is coming up in a big way. We have started introducing humor studies in our departments. So I think your poem is going to supplement something good to our students.
That is nice to know. That is
Yeah,
wonderful
it's really
update.
important. It's really important, because humor is really necessary in life. You
Yes.
can't have
Absolutely.
balanced. You can't be balanced. I mean, there was a time when people used to not laugh. It was shameful to be laughing. It was shameful to be seen. I'm talking about my childhood. And
Yes.
Especially when the girls were asked to be very soft and gentle and not be heard, not be seen either.
the boys wouldn't laugh, the men wouldn't laugh. Nobody laughed. It was a funny social
So
media.
may I now move on from the wonderful month of truncated month of February on to Song of Eventide by Anoopji. Let's see what his Song of Eventide has to sing. Over to you, Anoopji.
Thank you, Rupa. And if you don't mind, I would like to change the second poem.
Please,
This,
absolutely. We would love to hear what you have to say anew, a surprise.
this was in, actually it was Satbirji's first poem, which reminded me of this one, which I had written some maybe last year or so.
Okay.
And I would just like to recite that instead of the eventide.
Welcome.
Never, never, ever again. Never again. Never, ever again, we said. After each war, each pogrom, each massacre, never again, never, ever again, we said. We shook our heads in shock, in sorrow, in disbelief, and promised ourselves, never again, never ever again, we swore. And yet, years passed, memories faded, hate and fear ruled. Again, over and over again, we repeated ourselves, oaths forgotten, massacres repeated. We kid ourselves again. This will be the final time, the final solution, and we will have to kill no more. Never again, never ever again, we kid ourselves. We kid ourselves.
Yeah, we have to stop kidding ourselves and stop repeating the follies that make us go back in a loop of what we don't want to see around us, and we continue to see it. So, Satbir ji, you inspired a person right away and he changed his poem. You inspired Nandini ji, who is going to bring in your poem into her studies. How interesting is that? Thank you so much, Anup
I'm
ji.
so
Really
happy.
appreciate.
I'm so happy, but I'm not so happy that we have to still talk of useless, meaningless wars
Yes.
and wars which are worse than ever before. They are targeting innocent people, and it's a big issue. So I really hope the day comes soon that we stop having to write and read about inhuman and violence and all that.
Absolutely. While the inhumane things are happening around us, we, the warriors at LWG, want to pen and recite words which reach corners, and hopefully we can make some difference somewhere and shine light on important issues as well. And now, from interesting poems by each one of you, I want to move on to inviting Neelam for talking about a topic, resilience, which is a must, whether it is wartime, peacetime, or when we are silent or forced into silence. She called it Igniting Power, and I expect a powerful poem from you, Neelam, on resilience. Over to you. You are on mute.
Oops.
Here you are.
So I needed some igniting power for myself. Thank you for that igniting power. So here goes my poem. Story of most of us. Breaking, making, and then breaking again. The cycles have a repetitive action. But whether you will make again depends upon a lot of your spirits and your igniting power. You can burn into ashes and spread over the earth like millions of particles. You can burn into ashes and spread over the earth like millions of particles. Or you can be crushed to shine like a diamond. Or you can be crushed to shine like a diamond. I am sapphire. I am sapphire. I have been crushed and have yet been transformed since eons. I am sapphire. I have been crushed and I have been transformed since eons. Not giving up is my forte. Not giving up is my forte. So that was my poem.
Absolutely. You have gone through the rigors of life and struggles and challenges. And here you are, Neelam, the blue sapphire, who has toughened up for the world. That was wonderful, Neelam. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for the
Rupa.
resilience in the poem.
Thank you, Rupa. And 4 lines from me. Cracked earth dreams of rain's embrace, a mirage of hope in a barren place. Selfless hands dig while others deride. Unity blooms while efforts collide. So I would love to listen to your second poem.
Thank you so much, Neelam. And I must say, the 4-liners, the micro poems that you come up with before anyone else's poems is itself a delightful treat. Thank you for that. My next poem is titled Rain Chimera. Wailing, barren, cracked terror, bone dry, beseeches rain chimera, sucked dry by the deaf, myopic, self-serving era. A determined solo villager digs hardened earth while cynics holler. The job takes long, is tedious, slow, steady. Tiring, treacherous pit is almost about ready. Suddenly come alive, folks out of the woodwork. They want to share, though none put in any work. Everyone claimed, oh, it is a communal perk. Afflicted by the hardships and I-ism in the dry spell jerk. Banzi is a goddess of rain in traditional Congo. That's the word I have used. Banzi smiling, waved wand of lush. Dormant seeds peeped out in quick rush. Dug the well, overflowing now with abundance, rewarding villagers, dedicated focus and penance. Life ocean may froth its high tide, share kindness in communal ride. Humanity asks for unity, community with pride, shirking no duties and not running to selfishly hide. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. And we had so
Thank
many lovely
you.
comments pouring in all through the session. Mr. Jarnail Anand, Anuradha, Prasanna, Sunaina, who's my dear friend, Maitri, and Gayatri Joshi, Rekha Verma, Rupali ji, Rahul MK, and so many of our dear friends had joined us, and it was such a pleasure to have you all.
Absolutely, Neelam. Thank you so much for the co hosting, for the messages from others. And we appreciate each one of you who logged in to not only listen in, but also encourage and support us so we may continue indulging in our passion. And Anupji, once again, thank you for jumping in and saving our skin. And Nandini ji, thank you so
Welcome.
much for presenting your beautiful poems. Satbir ji, thank you for always presenting a profound piece with satire or otherwise. And Neelam, the warrior behind the Warriors group, who makes this happen each time and every time. So each one of you gets 30 seconds to say something, and then we wind up to say our goodbye. May I invite Nandini ji if you want to say something to those who joined us and who will join us later when we are off. I don't hear Nandini ji, so I think Satbir ji.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. I enjoyed the session, sharing the poems with each one of you. Thank you, Neelamji, and it's a wonderful session. I'm looking forward to working with each one of you. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank
Same.
you so much. Satbir ji, over to you for your 30-second piece.
Thank you all so much. Neelam, my old dear friend, hugs to you, hugs to all of you. Anupji, wish you the best of health and your companionship for a much longer time. And one of these days, I think we should have a theme session with maybe humor,
Yes,
because there's so much of seriousness that we think of. We need to take time and humor is basically more serious than seriousness.
yes.
If you
It's a
look at it.
serious business. Humor is a serious
It's more
business.
serious. So
Yes.
let's one day. It's a suggestion, Neela, and
Yeah, we do have a few times
yeah,
theme-based sessions. So we'll certainly organize one.
suggest. So
Thank you,
okay, I
Satbir
love
ji.
being with all of you. I feel I'm in a friends group, in a friends home, enjoying myself. Carry on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Anup
you
ji,
very much.
your 30 seconds are on and they're ticking.
And they're ticking tock, tock, tock. Ah, so nice session. First time I'm here on an international poetry meet, and it was a good experience. Thanks to Rupa, thanks to Neelam, thanks to Maya, Nandini, Satbirji, and thanks to Greg. Otherwise, I would not have been here today. But I will have been here some other time, perhaps.
A good one.
Now
That's a good one.
this is another humor. Different
He's
type
known
of
for that. He's known for that.
Correct. And Neelam, over to you for your 30 seconds.
Oh, me. I loved the session. I loved being here as always. And this was just being amongst friends. So it was just like meeting offline and chit chatting. So it was fun. And thank you, Sadbirji, Nandini ji, Anup, Maya, and Greg.
Absolutely. So, Greg, Barden, here is a shout out to you in Maine. I hope you're warm and your Wi Fi and your electricity is back. Stay safe. And I thank each one of you on the panel today for a wonderful time with you. And I appreciate your presence today and your poems. And those who will join us later, thank you so much. And LWG will continue to hold international poetry sessions once a month. The next event will be on 24th March. We look forward to having more of you join us as a panelist and as someone who supports, encourages, and listens in and comments. Thank you so much. Good day, good night, wherever you are, and see you all very soon again.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.